Hello, dear friend. You are watching the weekly horoscope for the week of December 7th through the 13th. We are going to start the week with a minor challenging aspect between Mercury and Pluto. This is an aspect which can make us a little bit more negative when it comes to our thinking or the ideas that we have, or also kind of obsessed with certain ideas. And sometimes this can be nice because, for example, we have a very important idea and we just want to find a solution or we want to implement that. So it could be a positive thing. But in other cases, those could be like negative ideas that are circling around our mind and we just cannot stop think about them. And whatever the case is, make sure that you don't overreact or you don't forget about all the other things because typically it's not the best strategy. On the other side, the moon is in Virgo, which can help us to be more practical, more concrete, more precise, but also kind of critical and judgmental. And the day can be more challenging when it comes to business, financial decisions, communication. It seems more neutral for relationships and creative projects. And probably the spiritual activities will be most beneficial because, after all, Pluto is a planet which can support us during the process. And whether you want to explore something or you want to focus on a spiritual practice, the day can actually help you to achieve that. By the way, I almost forgot to remind you that we have our free January astrology calendar prepared for you. If you haven't downloaded it yet, please make sure to check the link below, get it now. And also, if you're interested, you're welcome to join our webinar about 2021, which comes together with the full calendar. All right, Tuesday. On Tuesday, the moon is in Virgo and has some really positive aspects. There is a sextile with Venus, which can support us when it comes to financial decisions or investments, also in relationships or in communication with other people. This could be a very harmonizing aspect. The moon also have three other aspects, which honestly are even more powerful and significant. The trines with Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn. Those aspects can make us more productive, more concentrated, more inspired, and overall can help us to bring some kind of structure. So overall, the day can be very productive, or we can be very productive during this day. You can see here that almost every area will be beneficial, especially business, finance, relationships. We can achieve some good results. And after 7 p.m., the moon will ingress Libra, which puts more focus on communication with partners or with our spouses. And overall, the focus is more on finding harmony and balance. On Wednesday, we have a pretty interesting but also challenging aspect between the Sun and Neptune. Such a combination can make us really unfocused. We may forget about something, we can make a mistake, we might be misled, and frankly, we may not feel really motivated to do something. Typically, this is an aspect which can make us a little bit lazy at times or not really interested in something material or practical. We may want to just dream about things or just lay on the couch and watch a nice movie and just take a little time for yourself. On the other side, such an aspect can be positive for people who need inspiration. People who are creative may actually benefit from this aspect, but only if they are willing to put some effort into their work. The other aspect on Wednesday is a minor challenging connection between Mercury and Jupiter. This is an aspect which can make us a little confused when it comes to our priorities. And what may happen is that we can major in minor things. We may overestimate the importance of something which honestly is just not that important, and we may forget about something else which is probably more important. The interesting thing is that Jupiter here is actually the ruler of this Mercury position. And overall, we may tend to exaggerate things. We may see things as more significant, as bigger, as generally more important than they actually are. So keep that in mind. The moon is in Libra, so the focus is on harmony, balance, communication, relationships. The day is unfavorable for business unless you work in something creative and you need inspiration and you are someone who can process those energies. But for most people, it won't be one of the most productive days of the week. When it comes to financial decisions, it's neutral, but keep something in your mind that you might make a mistake or you might forget something little. So a little more attention there. And in communication also, there could be some kind of issues, unclear situations, but the most positive areas are actually creativity and spirituality. And also, as we said, if you are willing to take a little rest for yourself, also very nice decision. On Thursday, we have another picture. First of all, Venus in Scorpio has a positive aspect with Pluto in Capricorn. This is an aspect which can really intensify things emotionally and can also make us more passionate and concentrated on our desires. This is a very positive aspect for financial decisions, for investments, or taking care of things like insurances and those type of things. And also, when it comes to emotions, we can be just more involved in whatever we are doing during the day. Mercury has an interesting creative aspect with Uranus. This is a good one, which can bring some interesting ideas, excitement, need for variety, maybe interesting communication with other people, and new ideas. But the other thing is that Mercury has another aspect which is challenging with Saturn, which can pull us in a very different direction. If Uranus is bringing the excitement, the new ideas, the variety, Saturn is trying to keep us where we are, try to avoid the risks or try to avoid thinking differently, maybe putting ourselves in some kind of box. So we can feel kind of pulled between those two polarities. And here, of course, it's very personal what you will respond more to, whether it will be Uranus or Capricorn or Saturn. But if you find yourself thinking negatively or pessimistically, do something different, do something Uranus related to get yourself out of this. The moon is in Libra, so the atmosphere should be more harmonious, more balanced. We are willing and capable of making compromises. So overall, this is a nice position. The business stuff are dynamic, as you can see here, which means there could be something positive because Venus is triggering Pluto, which is in Capricorn. The Mercury-Uranus aspect may also bring different ideas, but the Mercury-Saturn aspect can block us. That's why I'm calling this dynamic, which means there is something positive there, but there are also potential challenges. For financial decisions, for relationships, the day is beneficial. For communication, probably we may expect some challenges, and also creativity and spirituality are beneficial areas. On Friday, we have a very different picture. We have a trine between the Sun and Mars. Mars, which is, I think, for around 6 months already in Aries, which is very rare. Mars typically spends around 2 months in a sign, but this year Mars was retrograde in Aries, so it's almost for 6 months there. And Mars is feeling quite comfortable now. It's already direct, it's powerful in Aries, and it has a positive connection with the Sun. A fiery, very vital, energized combination. two fire planets, both the Sun and Mars are fire planets, which currently are in fire signs, Sagittarius and Aries, connected with an aspect which typically also brings a fire energy, the trine aspect. So we can feel more vital, more inspired, more energized, capable of taking risks, confident, focused on our goals, willing to do something about them. So lots of excitement, lots of strong masculine energy. And on top of that, the moon is in Scorpio. I want to remind you that Mars is the old ruler of Scorpio. So this position of the moon only intensifies the Mars energy. But we need to remember that with the moon in Scorpio, things are usually not simple. We may not feel really comfortable or relaxed. Instead, we may feel this inner urge to do something. We may feel certain tension within ourselves, in communication with people. And one of the best solutions actually is some kind of physical activity. It could be some kind of yoga practice or some kind of, I don't know, walking outside, whatever you want to, but through physical activity, you can balance yourself and feel much better. The day is very beneficial for business and financial decisions, for spiritual work as well. For relationships and communication, it's more neutral. All right, now we are back to the last 2 days. On Saturday, Venus in Scorpio has a creative aspect with Mars in Aries, aspect which can bring changes, surprises, something unexpected, something interesting and exciting. Relationships can be very interesting on this day. It's a nice time for a date, for a present, for sharing your feelings, for doing something for the people you love, and overall making some new choices. The moon in Scorpio, on the other side, brings the intensity, the passion, the strong emotions and feelings, and they're not necessarily very balanced. We know that the moon in Scorpio typically is challenging us in a certain way, so keep that in mind. Sometimes we might take everything too personally, or we may overreact. But on the other side, the day is mostly beneficial for business, finance, relationships. Communication, it's more neutral, mostly because the moon in Scorpio brings potential tension. Creativity and spirituality are also great areas. And finally, we have Sunday. On Sunday, Mercury this time will have a square with Neptune. What a combination. Mercury in Sagittarius is actually very weak, and Neptune in Pisces is very strong, which obviously means that Neptune will dominate. And it means that we can be very unfocused, very unconcentrated. We may dream about things. We may not be very rational and practical when it comes to our decisions or ideas. We may forget about something. Sometimes there could be misunderstandings, or in other cases lies between people. So overall communication is unclear, messy, complicated. So be very careful, especially if you have some paperwork or something that requires you to be very careful. On the other side, the sun has a minor challenging aspect with Uranus, which can make us more impatient or eager for some kind of change and excitement. It could be challenging because we may not be capable to get everything as soon as we want to. This minor challenging aspect could be the sign of that, but we may still make some new choices or change something about our plans or the day or ourselves. So at the end of the day, it could be interesting and exciting. And the moon in Sagittarius is only supporting that. It's about focusing on the bigger picture. It's about positivity and optimism. Whether it's realistic or not, it's another question which we won't be asking. But seriously, it could be a great time to just look at things from a different perspective, from a more philosophical perspective, and probably some answers will be revealed to us. Business, finance, not favorable on this day, as is communication. On the other side, creativity and spirituality are great areas, so focus on those. And with that, my friend, we covered the most important astrology events of the week. Make sure, again, I'm reminding you to prepare for 2021. Our astrology calendar for January is completely free. We have a Google Calendar integration. And if you're interested, you can get the full version of the calendar, which comes together with a full webinar. Also, the 2021 predictions are already uploaded to my channel. Make sure to watch yours. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you next time.